Well, it's that time of the week again. It is Kaya Sports TV time. Hello and welcome to yet another exciting episode. My name is Sutumea, and this week we have the stuff of legends. Veteran broadcaster Dumile Mateza pays us a visit in our studios, and Sandile van Heerden catches up with the Proteas before they depart for Bangladesh. Plus, we attend a glitzy awards ceremony. Well, when you invite legends into your studio, you're more than likely to find out one or two things you didn't know about them. For instance, who knew that Dumile Mateza was a school principal? Here is what he has to say about his life, where he comes from, and where he's going.
I started doing commentary alongside rugby fields at school, and many people thought this guy is mad. They were saying so, really. They're saying this guy is mad, something's wrong with this guy.
Why?
Commentary is the use of a language. As a result, I use commentary at oral work at school for orals in English, Afrikaans and Xhosa. I did commentary as part of my oral work at school.
Are you talking about like when you do like the speeches and stuff, when you go in front and you do myself, you did it in commentary style?
Yes, I did commentary. I did an imaginary commentary match. You see, at the time when I was at school, there was something interesting happening in South Africa. There was a rugby tour by the British Lions led by Willie John McBride, who actually made a clean sweep in South Africa for the first time. A touring side made a clean sweep. Nobody was able to beat these guys, and we were we were in awe of these guys, and that's when the bug began to bite, listening to other commentators.
So there you are, you're 19, a young Dumile Mateza, 19-year-old is now a school principal. How does that unfold, and how do you make the step from being a school principal to then ending up in broadcasting?
Well, what happened at the time, the SABC was mulling around the issue of starting a television station for Africans, in other words, for blacks, and they were working on what became known as SABC 2 and 3, TV 2 and 3, that's what they were called. And then I made the application to the SABC, and then I got called to an interview. I had to go to King Williamstown for the interview, so I got into a train, went to King Williamstown, had the interview, and the next day I was told, look, you must pack for Johannesburg.
Oh my gosh. And you packed?
I packed, I got into a train, and I came to Johannesburg on the 2nd of December 1980. I started at the SABC.
Is that where you started? Did you start out as a newsreader before you went into sport?
I started as a newsreader, and I did both. And then at some stage in my career, I said, no, I would like to concentrate on sport.
And boxing?
Well, boxing was, I think, one of the first things we did as a sport on the SABC was boxing. There was an amateur tournament in Randfontein on the mines, and that was the first boxing tournament we had to go and cover for the SABC in 1982, and we went there to cover the tournament, and that's where I started to follow boxing. Despite the fact that I came from the Eastern Cape, a place where boxing is
big culturally, it's endemic.
It's endemic. You know, I seem to remember in my time, people used to leave in buses and go to see a tournament in East London. And they used to pack a stadium called Sisa Dugashe Stadium in Dansane and pack the stadium for the boxing tournament. It does not happen anymore.
And one thing that you are known for and have been known for throughout the years is your knowledge of, be it football players, boxers, whoever, their personal histories, which you will share with the audience. So there are famous stories of you saying, Unyana Gasbanbani, who owns a butchery where. Why was that important to you? Do you class yourself as a commentator or more of a storyteller? Because in many ways, that's more broad storytelling.
One of the important things I learned early in my career as a broadcaster is that if I know a person's name and I pronounce it the way it should be pronounced, and I know the background to that person, many viewers or listeners think that I have a personal relationship with those people. Therefore, they would like to listen to those kind of things. I will never forget a time when I was growing up. Given Klebe was doing commentary at a cricket match, and he spoke about, there's the Australian Chappell brothers, Trevor,
Greg,
Ian, and Ian, And he said, Onyana Bagatatu Chapel. Now you think when he says Onyana Bagatatu Chapel, he has a personal relationship with these guys. And that's the kind of thing I took. And also the detail in doing commentary, I learned that detail from somebody like Charles Fortune. You need to have the detail. It is the detail that counts, that people want to listen to.
Maybe you can take people back in just a few seconds and give us a piece of commentary, one of your favorite pieces of commentary that still to this day you remember that day, I was spot on.
You know, you will not believe this. We were in Port Elizabeth. We're doing the African Nations Cup in 1996. I get a call from the SABC and they say to me, look, Dumile, there are a few Afrikaans people who are following the soccer. So can you do commentary for 10 minutes in each of the games that you're doing? I said, okay, I'll do it. And then I just sit down, craft a few words, what would be a corner, what would be this, what would be that. And then I started doing the commentary. People say, who's this now? What the hell is going on here? And I was doing commentary in Afrikaans. I had to remember a whole lot of things like a doelskop for a goal kick. What is a corner kick nowadays?
It's a
hoekskop.
A hoekskop.
And I had to remember Ivory Coast as the voorkeurs. I had to remember, and I was doing Ivory Coast and Ghana. And it's been a marvel to do commentary over the years. And I was talking to Sutu earlier, asking me, is there a book
coming out?
I said, yes, I'm working on a book. And it's been very slow, but the book, you'll like the title, Talk is Cheap.
Well, if you're looking to hear Dumile Mateza's commentary, you certainly won't, because he's moved on to bigger and better. He's now the presenter of Rights and Recourse, which is a legal show on SABC. Plus, he says that he's interested in making documentaries, and maybe one day he will go back into administration. We wish him luck, and of course, we will be looking out for his career. Now then, Sandile van Heerden caught up with the Proteas on their way to Bangladesh. They, of course, are playing their ODI series against that country.
We spent some time with the Proteas before they left for Bangladesh. After that painful exit from the Cricket World Cup, the men in green and gold were looking to get their season off to a winning start. The team is rebuilding, and new faces have been added for the tour against the Tigers, including that of exciting young fast bowler Kagiso Rabada.
It's been great. Things have been happening very quickly. But I've been loving it, I've been in the fast lane now, but everything's been coming and good things have been coming my way, so hopefully it just keeps happening.
We've got a fantastic team culture at the moment, great leadership. So it just gives you an opportunity as a young guy just to come in and do your thing, no pressure whatsoever. If you have a bad game, it's not the end of the world, you'll get another opportunity.
Apart from Bangladesh, South Africa will also face India, New Zealand, England and Australia, and coach Russell Domingo says they're looking forward to the season ahead.
A very exciting season for us. Test cricket, which we haven't had a lot of over the last year. We've got 10 test matches in the next 6 months. That's still the truest form of the game. Players really pride themselves in their performances there, so that's very exciting for us. Our preparation leading into the T20 World Cup is going to be massively important. And then also trying to get back to number one and one or two in the one-day international circuit. I think we joined third at the moment, so we'd like to get our number one rank. We'd like to get our ODI ranking back up to number 1 or 2 in the next year or so.
Well, we wish the Proteas well. Also, all the best to AB de Villiers and his wife, who are expecting the birth of their first child any time now. For Sidestep, I'm Sandile van Heerden.
Well, congratulations to Eddie Lear on his fantastic debut. You will remember that we had him right here in our studios, which means that we have an eye for talent. Now then, they may be busy with pre-season, but they're taking the time out to enjoy a little bit of glitz and a little bit of glamour. We're talking about Supersport United, who are enjoying their awards ceremony. Musabri Whitehead was there.
Supersport United held their 2014-2015 season awards last night, where Thuso Phala was the big winner, scooping the Player of the Season award. Phala is hoping to reach even greater heights next season.
Yeah, I think this can only be a motivation for me to work more harder. You know, there's still a PSL hours for me to achieve, which is what I'm looking forward to. Hopefully next season it will happen. So this is just as you know, a motivator for me to work hard and be more consistent, and hopefully there are more things to come.
The Bafana man dedicated his award to his mother, football administrator Susan Pala, who he says has been his rock over the years.
As I said, I wish that she could have been here, but I'm sure where she is, she's very proud. I wanted her to be here to see me win my first, individual award. But yeah, I'm very happy to her with all the support she's given me, for being there for me all these years, and I'm gonna carry on working hard just to make her proud.
But despite winning the Telkom Knockout Cup and finishing inside the top 8, Matatanza boss Stan Matthews was in reflective mood, saying he wants more from his boys next season.
If you look at the financial league ladder of the PSL, then we should be a top 5 club. So in that way, I think we underachieved in terms of our finish, notwithstanding that we got off to a bad start. We had it in our own hands 4 or 5 times to lock in a top 5 finish, which we didn't do. I think we got a little bit distracted after winning the Telkom. Obviously, from my point of view, to finish over 20 points behind the league leaders for 2 seasons in a row is unacceptable. And we have to show a lot more consistency and a lot more appetite for the week in and week out of PSL action.
Matthews adds that he's invested in the team and has signed new players, so they'll have no excuse to underperform during the 2015-2016 season.
The mandate is for him to make sure that we're in the title race with 10 games to go. We feel very comfortable about the squad that we've got. We've got a tremendous blend of young, exciting players coming through and some steady hands. You saw what I brought in January in terms of Mpeta and Brocky and Nkata and Dane, though he didn't stay. So those players have had 6 months to settle in. And when we add 3 or 4 of the exciting signings, that we've got lined up now, I think that we should be challengers, and I don't think that's unrealistic.
Musibudi Whitehead, Kaya FM Sport.
And that is all we have for you in this week's episode of Kaya Sport TV. Do remember that we are back with you next week, same time, same place. Until then, goodbye.